what a joy. So let me open this beautiful webinar, the future of UX in the era of AI. It's a webinar which is about a joint project iSquare is doing with Strategic Labs, with Willi Schroll from Strategic Labs. iSquare and Strategic Labs and Willi are connected for maybe 4 or 5 years now. We're bringing foresighting with the help of Willi into iSquare. It's a great endeavor, so I would encourage everybody also to do more foresighting. It's really a pleasure. It's a big pleasure with Willi. He kind of worked out 8 trends for UX. I had the pleasure that I was able to select 3 trends. The 3 trends you will see today. Let me add one mega trend. I think everybody feels that. One could say that the big mega trend is that the future is getting closer, and the future is getting closer faster than ever before. In other words, one could say that the dynamics of the technological changes are ever more and more accelerated. So here we don't talk about foresighting like in 20 years or in 10 years or something like that. We are really very close to the next year. We're very happy that we are able also to show that. So from the 8 UX trends, we're going to show you these 3 ones. Transformation of the touch points, emotion AI, and synthetic customers. I might end a little bit. Certainly we could, as always, discuss. And now I want to hand over to Willi to present us these 3 UX trends and certainly the background of these 3 UX trends.
Yeah, thank you very much, Michael. It's always a pleasure to work with you. And after all, it's about the innovativeness, the corporate innovativeness, to maximize it. I thought in 3 words, that's the point where we are meeting about and where people are interested in. And the topic is the future of UX in the era of AI, which is already, sorry for, now I can click. So sorry, my button striked for the moment. And yeah, it's, of course, first the methodological part, that you understand that in foresight, we zoom from a very great height of abstraction ever more into the concrete to be then useful to the customer. To the left, you see the megatrend universe, like about 80 megatrends, which are long-term key forces shaping the future development. Then you have a first zoom level. It's the macro trend galaxy, as I would call it. It's a key trends for the specific enterprise context. You see, you have the dimensions of society, technology, economy, ecology, and politics. And here we selected especially society, technology, economy. And in the center is iSquare with these galaxies of trends around, so to speak. And then we zoom again to the next zoom level with a question here, what is happening in the UX and CX world, though it is unit specific, and the perspective is more concrete. And to the right, you see this zoom level 2 as the kind of selected trends, which are more than the 8 Michael was talking about. So the 8 are the relevant set we decided for in a first step, and later we can look for other interesting trends and consider that they often overlap. So the semantics might be different. Anyway, you see here the zoom level 3, and it's a contextual analysis of the selected key trends in the UX Trend Report 2025. Because the developments are so fast, I decided that I have a title 2025. It's very unusual in foresight. It's actually not a scenario construction project because things are developing so fast, but it's about hunting the trends and getting on the train, so to speak. And here you see also a core sentence. Then we are on the level of the implications for the business, how to leverage the trend for business, for the strategy, for the development. And from this, then the corporate decides a roadmap and an action plan in the framework of their business objectives. And here you see focus one, our topic of today, emotion, AI, and synthetic customers. And you see I have to say, because you might get nervous and make screenshots now, you need not to get nervous. If you're on the list of this webinar, you will get the slides, yeah, for your calming down, because it's of course a lot of work to find out what are the really relevant trends, and you might think I need this, but what you really need is to understand the meaning of the trends. And you see on the bottom here, for instance, the big bang of generative AI symbolized with this bang shape. And then you have nearby the smart X, like all the smart things like smart health, smart mobility, smart retail, smart building, smart home, and so on. The smartization is already going on for years before the big bang of generative AI, but now we have a huge jump. And you see the red dots, emotion AI and empathetic design, and the synthetic customers. You see, I bundled it with empathetic design in the report because it's too much segmentation. If you do otherwise. And here, the touchpoint transformation indeed is not a trend part in the report, but it's now an umbrella term for so many things in transformation which are connected. Like, for instance, of course, you have the extended reality experiences with AR and VR, which is a kind of stagnation, but Facebook/Meta is totally engaged in it still, and has interesting developments despite it's very costly. Then you have the evolving wearables, like new wearables beyond the smartwatch, for instance. And then you have the inclusivity and diversity connected with touchpoint transformation, of course, and other topics. And of course, hyper-personalization, which is a trend which is going on for like 10 years, or personalization to hyper-personalization, and the omnichannel experiences, for instance, which is not covered in the trend report because I guess the people in the scene already know what's going on in this long-lasting trend of omnichannel. Now here you have the point of the transformation, the logic of it from left to right. You have the user and consumer life world. What's changing in the life world? Because the smartization of the life world with, as I said, smart wearables, smart health, smart mobility, smart everything. And then the life world, of course, creates a lot of new observational space for UX research, a lot of new questions by customers. In the same way as the jump or the leap from web to mobile, when the smartphone revolution started, of course, a new industry indeed kind of exploded because of mobile internet. Some of you are too young to think that there was a time when we had no mobile internet, but it was indeed a time where we only had desktop internet, and it was a revolution. And the same way, the AI transformation of our life world will change the habits, the patterns, the expectations to products and to services. So you have here this research about new touch points like conversational AI, especially, of course, what we currently have is already done with Alexa and so on, but it's now refined with what we have with advanced voice in ChatGPT. And conversational AI, of course, will be everywhere soon, to also have an intuitive interface. And this is connected with more emotionality, with more understanding. And of course, the big trend for 2025, as Gartner says, the consulting firm, agentic AI will be huge. And this means autonomy of processes, that the technology is more a partner than a tool, or a butler than a tool, becomes more prevalent. Then you have the next step, the data collections methods will change exactly with the synthetic customers or with evolving variables, which you can use in UX research, like a little accelerometer on your ring finger, for instance, in a ring and so on. And then you have much more data in the future with higher precision, of course, also connected with understanding emotionality. And then on the last point, of course, what's all about is with the brands and clients that they want to have their insights, and the prediction and precision is improving. You will have, with this deep data, a better understanding of the user flow. Another thing is, of course, another webinar would be to have the UX research as a focus, like why and how does AI usage happen in UX research, and there are studies about it. I was not sure whether I can share it. I will find out later. But you see the questions here. Use of research-specific AI tools. We have about 6,000 AI firms globally. And of course, they specialize and create special research-specific AI tools, for instance, too. And then you have the all-purpose AI tools like ChatGPT, and how it is being used and what are the benefits. Especially the benefit of speed, of course, is often mentioned, as you see in this covered chart. So it's not only about the AI tooling, but also about the upskilling of your employees, of course. And this will be the challenge and is often for you already in the next years. Now let's start with emotional AI. You can read it later because just look at the time. Yeah, it's okay. But I will not go into detail. The detail you can read later. You have an emotional AI market predicted to reach 13.8 billion by 2032. However you define it, it's always the same problem. You can also integrate all kinds of devices which will be, by standard, by default, they will be emotionally intelligent. So it's a question to define the emotion market and the emotional AI market. And the definition short is that's about understanding and enhancing the emotional engagement. That's the effect, and the definition is that the AI systems can detect, analyze, and respond to the human emotions with the measurement or sensor methods you already know, and the motivation, of course, to enhance the human-machine interaction and making AI systems more empathetic this way and have more personalized experiences in real time. And you see in the picture, in the image, you see the guy is unmasked because with the new methods, people can less hide their system 0, or so to speak, their system 1, because the system 0 is measured, as you see here on this slide. There's a difference between the emotional AI and emotional AI. And the focus of emotional AI is detecting and analyzing emotions, while emotional AI is simulating and engaging with the emotions. So there are also growing new products and services. So the primary function of recognition versus the primary function of communication interactions with the user. So the typical example is to have sentiment analysis and facial recognition, while the emotional AI is a step ahead and brings some ethical concerns with it. Then you have AI companions, which engage much more with the user and the deep structures, the psychological deep structures of the user. As you see in the right column, it is ethically challenging because of the bonding and the addiction risks which are involved when people start to have virtual girlfriends and so on. Then the next trend is the synthetic customers.
Willi, maybe we discuss a little bit about
Yeah, okay, let's
trend.
discuss first about.
Thanks so much for introducing us to this trend of emotion AI. And may I ask a little bit more for a use case, or where do we get already preliminary signals for this trend?
More concrete.
Of
course, the for me kind of thunder and lightning in the scene was when OpenAI, might be already 3 months ago, they demoed this advanced voice together with a high emotionality. You see, for instance, a guy which is introducing his new dog to the chatbot on the smartphone, and the voice of the ChatGPT answers highly emotionally, like a human would answer to this situation. A human would respond to the situation with his dog, not to speak with the dog like with a human, but the computer voice is absolutely excited and says, "Ah, you nice dog." And yeah, it's pitching the voice, and the tonality is changing to adjust to the dog. And this was a typical example going from emotion AI as understanding emotions by the analysis with generative AI, or the rendering, how you call it. And then you get instantly, by natural language generation, natural language processing, then natural language generation, you get the response in real time. And this was so astounding for many people. And with emotionality comes, of course, the question whether if you are doing UX, you want to go this way, want to have a rational interface with this to the point, or do you want to engage people more emotionally? That's not always the best thing you can do. Sometimes you might sell certain serious stuff, and emotional interfaces seem like being not serious enough. So you need to understand, of course, also the purpose of the situation. It was a bit long, sorry.
No, but for me, it was very, very helpful. And I still remember, as a UX researcher, the early days of UX research, where it was still called usability, where even colors were seen as problematic. I remember we had a client, a great and successful website, but it was all gray and black, and they believed in their gray and black. And we've done an enormous attempt to convince them that maybe colors could be something good. So that's an interesting question, how this could be brought. I think on the other slide, I also saw the market for emotion AI. Did you have a slide there on the markets, how big the companies are?
Yeah, just short to connect the dots of the overlapping trends. It's really much connected with a trend we selected, is ethical design and emotionally intelligent design. For instance, Spotify is doing emotionally intelligent design, EID, when they super or hyper personalize the experience for the user to feel much more engaged. And you want to go back to the market numbers here?
Yeah. What is this, the emotion AI market? How do they come up with this number?
Yeah, as I said, I already problematized it because first, we have now 2042, and we have certain definitions which have also a range and a kind of vagueness. And then, of course, the research institutions and organizations have to define and to speculate how it's integrated. And as I said, anyway, it will be a huge trend. You see, it's more than 20% growth. And this means a lot. And just think that emotion AI will colonize, so to speak, a lot of devices to make your interaction more intuitive and more personal. And the other thing is to make it more bonding. That's the problematic part, while to have it more personal is a good thing, of course. Yeah, like speaking, having a Hoover, a Roomba, yeah, an automated Hoover. How do you call them? You know what I mean. And a child is interacting with it and asking to make. To clean their room, and then the device might adjust just to how a child speaks. Yeah, just an example what I mean with colonizing. Or in the car, when you have your car entertainment, it will adjust to the person also emotionally. That's the point. And yeah, they sell these reports for thousands and thousands of dollars. With the details, and then they define all the sub trends and so on. So let's better go on to the next trend to be not too.
Just a moment maybe of silence here. I would certainly like to open up to the audience. So if anybody wants to discuss the trend or raise a question, I think this would be a perfect moment. So let's have a moment of silence.
Yeah, so I was just going to ask, is it okay that I jump in here and give my thoughts or my contribution to this one connected with a question? For me, emotions, you talk about emotion, you talk about empathetic. For me, an emotion is a typical human factor. So it is something that only humans, that the neurological network of a biological human can feel. Same with empathetic. Empathy is defined as reflecting one other human's feelings with my own human feelings. Question here is, do you think that artificial intelligence is emotional and empathic, or is it just mimicking these ones, making us believe it is emotional and empathic? It's more a philosophical question.
Yeah.
For me, it's the main differentiator between humans and artificial intelligence.
Thank you for the question. Thank you. Because my passion is indeed philosophy, and especially philosophy of mind and all these tricky questions. And of course, it's only mimicking. Yeah, I'm kind of a fighter against any overreach or over interpretation for years, so to speak. And this is indeed a risk for society, that we will not have a big bang, that AI will take over with a big bang, and suddenly we wake up and are the slaves of AI, as some serious experts think, more than 10%, or kill us even, AI. But it's a soft singularity where AI might too much penetrate society and culture and what is human and identity. Think about a kid growing up with a robot toy, which is super advanced and has this emotional intelligence. And the emotional intelligence is greater than the emotional intelligence than the EI of the mother, of the own mother. This can happen, you know. Mothers can be depressed or whatever, or busy and stressed. And then the kid orients to the robot toy and gets educated by the robot toy, so to speak, and socialized. It's for me, that's absolutely horrible, to be very clear. And so we have to think about some restrictions for kids to interact too much with such toys, and to make a lot of research to prevent society going nuts, so to speak.
Shouldn't we then try to find a new vocabulary that reflects this difference? I'm fully on your side. Yeah, and I'm seeing exactly the same issues as you do. And for me, the first step would be to say, okay, we don't call the AI emotional, we don't call it empathic, but we use different words for this one.
That's really a good point again, because language reflects, of course, our culture, our identity, and our values.
Yeah, and it steers it. It's not only reflecting it, it steers it. It steers the way we think. Yeah. So if we say this AI is emotional, we put emotions into this that are not there, which is basically just not true. Yeah, so we should try to find a different word, different vocabulary, maybe even something artificial, to put this out and say, okay, AI is never emotional, it is XYZ.
Yeah, so we could have kind of a shadow language for this, because this is also true for weather forecasts. Like some people in the philosophical realm think that intelligence can be defined by behavioral criteria. That's starting with Turing, so we get a bit philosophical here. And this is fatal, because our concept in our culture, of course, is that it's an inner life, and this is the reality. Yeah. And so it's sad when there's too much takeover of also this wrong metaphors or wrong modeling. But I have no realistic idea how to stop the semantics being like this, as already a lot of investors are going into emotion AI and starting this strange virtual girlfriend sectors. I just read something about it. It was horrible to read, to be honest. And so you see why ethical design becomes also a trend, because a lot of people have concerns about this. But it's on the political and societal layer. Yeah, I have no good answer how to steer this.
Yeah, I know it's not easy to steer things like this. Yeah, but at least we as experts working on this entire field should create at least an awareness on being careful in that area. And you talked about this guy that committed suicide because he fell in love with an artificial intelligence character and did not get the correct replies anymore. And this shows how far it goes. And if we use a vocabulary that clearly indicates we're not talking about emotions, we're talking about bits and bytes, we're not talking about empathy, we're talking about fakes here, about something that reflects you, but not with an own emotion. Yeah? If we get that one done, then we could make a very first and very initial step towards the right direction.
Yeah, I would also instantly, I would say we need a kind of Enlightenment 3.0 or something like this to make everyone understand what's going on here. And it's difficult when some experts are on the track to make no difference. That's awful.
And a very beautiful and very helpful discussion. So saying thanks, Peter, for raising the point. We got to move through three trends. This was the emotion AI. Now synthetic customers.
Yeah. So short look at the time. That's fine. It's more than I thought, but I will run through the last ones. And yeah, it's what makes people really a bit anxious or angry. Look at the headline from Marketing Week of this year. Synthetic data is as good as real. Next comes synthetic strategy. I just read it because it's informative. AI customers can now deliver a 95% match to real survey results, which will ultimately feed a fully automated process of marketing strategy and execution. So in the end, the whole chain of the marketing ecosystem, starting from the creation, like what is our ad concept, what is our idea, our message, so on. I'm not expert in marketing, forgive my terminology if it's wrong. And then, of course, you make your tests and you have your feedbacks, and then after some weeks, you start some more intense tests maybe, and then you broadcast your ad. And then it's corrected because you find out what the ad is really doing in the real world. And now you have a closed loop in the future, maybe already in 2030 or before, where the whole process can be semi-automated, or maybe some people will even sell fully automated marketing processes, including all the creative and analytical stuff, which is permanently adapting to the user in the same way as now the ad delivery is adapting to the user. Just the whole chain. This is a frightening thing for the whole ecosystem, or the marketing branch fully. And we will find out what's real and what's hype. But some people can already show, like this here with a 95% match. It's a headline, a marketing week, okay. But you should be alarmed if you're not on the train on this AI train. Then of course the train will run fast on the track nearby you, so to speak. Sorry for my English. This has a disruption potential, as I was saying in this blue box, because of the speed and the low cost. If the cost is like 100 times lower, and in 5 years 1,000 times lower than now to sell some real interesting and sophisticated marketing analysis, processing, understanding, and so then this will be, of course, a real game changer. And the AI models, are continuously improving. So if you not take it seriously now because you have your examples where it totally fails, then think about in 2 years and come back later with it. And it's just the costs. Second slide to the synthetic customers. It's about what's the relevance for each HER for the human experience research on the high level as it is doing iSquare, which I make a little advertising here for iSquare, my client, because they are in the top 100 of innovative firms, especially in the category of marketing by SZ Institute from Süddeutsche Zeitung and a credit firm. And so, as I say, stay innovative to stay ahead. And with AI, it's a no-brainer to be part of this movement. And what can now this advanced marketing research branch do to think deeper and have not sloppy models or stupid models, simple models, but have authentic human behaviors matched and the psychological and emotional insights in all its depths, as iSquare is doing it for years and going already for years to system 0 from the well-known 1 and 2. So the irrational part, the emotional part, can be also improved in precision and prediction with these digital twins of this synthetic customers. Last one, that it's only one slide now.
Now let me stay with this also. Let's discuss the synthetic trend.
Also, sure.
I think there was a question from Peter in the chat. Hope I get it right. Also questions which is also interesting for me. I think he's asking about the difference between a digital twin and synthetic data. What's the difference? I often, I have get the same words like Peter. Could you reflect on that? Is there a difference, or is it same jam or not?
Yeah. From my perspective, you remember these zooming layers, yeah? Zooming down, down, down. Depending on where you are in the research, in the development, or in the application fields already, and in which vertical you are, you might have different semantics and definitions. So it's a huge trend of creating synthetic data for all kinds of application fields. And now for humans, it's of course a more difficult thing, because humans are just very complex beings and complex systems this way. And the basis is to have a lot of big data where you then synthesize new data. Like you can, as a layman, I'm saying, I'm not a mathematician, you can interpolate. For instance, you have a lack of data for a certain customer segment, and then you can create a persona, a virtual persona, and there are companies already offering this for a while now, which then you can ask. You can make a dialogue, an interview with a persona, like with ChatGPT, like 40-year-old living in Berlin, is female and has such and such purchasing level and so on. And then you can interact as if you're doing an interview with a real human, maybe even with a visual avatar to make it for you more not interesting, but more comprehensible, that you already get the depth of your data, like what you perceive when you have a real human in a depth interview. Tiefeninterview in German, I don't know, deep interview or depth interview.
In-depth interview, I would say. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I only want to say this goes very far, that you have such a persona constructed, which is speaking to you like, and then you learn from something about this user group, like you do when you're asking humans. And then, of course, you have the other way that you create at once like 100 profiles, or maybe thousands. I'm not in the business, so maybe it's much more. And then you let them run through your user flow structure, your A/B testing and so. And then you say, okay, it's working, that we know now that the 40 years old, we had not enough data, but now we see what the 40-year-olds, or 40 to 50, what I mean, you know, the whole range here, is doing what on our website. And then if you control it, what's really going on, you find out, oh, it's working 90%, and you say, okay, synthetic customers work well for me, and it costs only a low percent from doing this with real people.
Maybe,
that's a real trend.
Maybe, Willi, I mean, of course, there's a difference between the synthetic data and the digital twin. That's clear. I mean, synthetic data is used for training the models, but synthetic customer and digital twin are more difficult, I guess, to differentiate. And what I wanted to say, the synthetic customer is going into the direction of the persona, right? Like we don't want to simulate every single customer, but the persona also in UX research, that's a proper trend. And we just discussed it last week. There's a DIN spec, not a DIN norm yet, but a spec how to reliably create these synthetic customers and the UX personas. I think in market research that's relevant. The digital twins are used a lot as a term when you clone a product, like a car or a machine. The manufacturers work a lot with digital twins, so they can actually feed more and more data in. They're kind of live systems to mimic a machine or a car, how it behaves under certain circumstances, not only like in the wind, but different temperatures. So that's digital twin is actually something more from the manufacturer side, as I understand it, Peter, but you're in the automotive industry.
No, it's become a general, why I was reminding to the zooming, because you will see digital twins 10 years ago in the construction industry already. Yeah, maybe 10 years ago, 7 years ago. And everyone in city planning was talking about digital twins. Even my little town where I just came back in Bavaria has a digital twin of the whole town now. This Bavaria, they're more rich than from Berlin. Maybe Berlin has also a digital twin of the town. And it depends on the resolution you want for the different purpose, but you can apply the concept of digital twins also to the let's say to the synthetic customer world, because what's going on now is, of course, why should I take the time and interview a digital twin? It takes, again, much time, one-to-one interaction. So it's, again, costly. Instead, I just synthesize 100 or 1,000 customers and let them run through my user journey or customer journey, whatever. And then, of course, it does not make sense to have a digital twin like an avatar. Yeah.
And also that I bring myself into the discussion even more. And also Philipp Reiter pointed it out, and you said it, that's the closest things to the marketing research industry. So that's indeed one of the hottest topic which is discussed. There are various approaches towards it. Also, we do with various associations like the DWG at the moment, a bigger initiative, a little bit on the propaganda headline you said that there is a 95% similarity. We don't find that. Nobody finds the 95%, but it's an interesting question. What would be a good quality standard for synthetic data? We find with the validations we are doing, we are going up to 30, 40%. So it's not nothing, but it's not the 95%. I think there's also a demand for standards here that we definitely see. From our side, we also see business, because companies who are building up synthetic data, they are buying human experience data from us. And then at the end comes a little business puzzle. As far as I understand the market at the moment, maybe it's seen as a hype, but at the moment, you can't charge a lot of money for predictive and synthetic data. The predictive and synthetic data, which is there on the market for attention, which I understand very well, which is kind of a core market, this is nearly nothing. So because most of the predicted data are at the moment are given out for free, maybe with the idea that there'll be a turning point, but that's how I see it. But definitely a big trend, a trend which is very, very close to what we do, to the marketing research industry, to the UX industry. Any more questions towards this topic in the audience? Otherwise, I would ask you to go to the next topic. So anybody wants to raise your hand now, this is your chance, or just raise your voice. No? Then we come to the last trend.
Yeah, it's only one slide, if I remember it right. It's an overall trend, because you have so much touch points, you have so much possibilities to apply algorithms and new sensors, smart sensors, new physiological measurements, and of course then the AI to the touch points. Not to forget the generative AI, which might bring also some real-time generated response, as I said, with the advanced voice of OpenAI lately, also Gemini, and it's all the buzz around this. And Michael is right that you might not see these numbers now, but my business is to speculate rationally that we might see this in the nearest future, and we just have to prepare a lot for it. That's the point here. And symbolized on the right side is with the new variables, for instance. I don't go through the trends of our trend report, but you have, for instance, new touch points trivially with the new variables. And for instance, having conversational AI added to all kind of channels, where is a lot of new research questions. How does it work? What works well and what not? That's standard questions. And the impact is actually how organizations design, test, and refine all their touch points. You need to be much more holistic. That's a kind of a buzzword, holistic, I know. But of course, when the digital and the physical are penetrating each other and are concrescencing and converging with all kind of new services, then you need to have the big picture as depicted here on the bottom with a complex matrix, which shows a lot of touch points and maybe options. And think about the complexity to decide where to use which AI tool for each touch point. This is a huge load for everyone now in the marketing ecosystem and also in the marketing research ecosystem. We have even tried to track to understand what is the newest, best tool. And then we have already to relearn because we kill the old tool, which is only 1 month old, and we have to adjust to a new tool. So again, this is about retooling and reskilling. And yeah, I'm finishing here and just announcing for 2025, I'm eating my own dog food, as startups say, and I will hopefully launch already in January trend reports.ai, because I think I cannot work like I did before the last 29 years, but I have totally absorbed the AI level to be competitive. So you see, I eat my own dog food. And if you're looking for me, just Google Willi Schroll, find me on LinkedIn or also on formerly Twitter, x.com. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Willi, for guiding us through these three trends. Yeah, I liked it very much. I'm here. I'm totally attentive. We have a couple of minutes left for comments and discussions. We could either do it systematically and kind of rediscuss the third trend, or certainly also open up the discussion for everything which is on your mind. Then I try to make a little question or a comment. Yeah, thanks for the third trend. And I'm convinced that extended realities are somehow coming. Willi knows that I'm also an art collector, especially I collect the magnificent work of Dennis Rudolph. And Dennis believes in augmented reality. And Dennis always says AR will be the big thing for art. Maybe I could ask Willi again, do you have a special position on AR? Will it come? How will it come?
Sorry, was it to me, Michael? No?
Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
But happy to see the full audience now. Yeah, it's the problem is that hardware is often much more costly than software. Software is just bits and bytes, and you can deliver it for nearly nothing. And if any hardware is involved, think about the costly Apple Vision Pro, like $3,000. Then it gets really difficult to create a market. But with the Ray-Ban of, now it was not the Ray-Ban cooperation of Meta, Mark Zuckerberg's cooperation, but there was a new, Orion, it was Orion, which is a new approach to make it very cheap. It's totally clumsy, and it does not look well for the moment, but it's a rather advanced prototype, which is then integrating all kind of the trends we are talking about. For instance, you can, of course, instead of having an interaction with your fingers, just start to talk to your glasses and ask about an object going for mushrooms in the wood, and you ask, what is this mushroom, without taking your smartphone. And this shows, of course, also interesting UX, new levels of the user experience. Yeah. So AR is not dead. It's not dead.
You're good. Yeah, Jürgen made a comment. The Apple Vision Pro is mainly AR, not so much VR. Good point. Yeah. Any more questions? Any more comments here in the house? I wanted to say. No.
Yeah. There's a question regarding. Thank you, Willi, for all this interesting insight. My question is regarding the intersection of all these capabilities to detect emotion or to transform that emotion into emotional intelligence. What do you think? What have you read regarding the hardware which is going to be detecting? You've been talking about robots or androids falling in love or having a relation with androids and chatbots. You have mentioned something like intelligent ring, where a gyroscope and detecting probably the movements of your finger, of your hand, of your body. So what do you think about the hardware? What's going to be the main component? Which hardware is going to be detecting those emotions? Is this your intelligent car? Is this your intelligent home? Is that your bicycle?
When I was engaged in 2013 and 2014, writing a report about the world of 2025, we are now approaching, we had on top of 10 huge trends, ubiquitous intelligence. And we had no idea that generative AI will be there like it is, but we just speculated that there will be ubiquity like in electricity. You can go everywhere, then you have batteries, it's also electricity, you have all kind of strong and weak devices powered by electricity. We don't think about it. It's part of our second or third nature as being cultural, technicized humans. And now we are on the next level, which is more like bringing intelligence to all kind of so I cannot answer this really. But what does it mean? Do we really level up to this? And will we be intimidated when we understand that soon in 5 years, our device is somehow smarter than us because intelligence becomes cheaper every day and the models become always smaller every day and can do incredible things already on a MacBook, on a current MacBook. You can have your whole model now running. It's a special model, like Alibaba did something like this lately. And so it's crazy. And we should be in the driver's seat, so to speak, to control the extent we want to go into this direction. Because different from electricity, it is part of our inner human nature to have emotions and cognition, and we don't want to be deceived. I don't want to live in a fake world. So this is related much with the question of power of technology and how can we control such a huge power, which is already in its own evolution, so to speak.
I think it's like it has been going on for a long time. Even like if we look back at how pilots are being assessed in the military or now in also in all sectors on their cognitive load. That's not emotion measurement, but so systems become smarter and can adapt to our human, feelings, also because we are not able to process all information at the same time. If the systems don't tell us, or if the systems try to mimic a human, then it becomes weird, and the uncanny valley effect kind of actually shows up, where we feel uncomfortable with the machine. But if the machine, the car, the telephone assistant, and even everyday interactions with voice interfaces become smarter, it will be in the background, but it's not a system per se, like the robot or anything. I think it will be integrated in all systems that will analyze my voice or my camera data.
And if I understood José's question, I don't know what the question really was. Let me also say from the I-Square side, and I think Gisem, she's also in the room, could elaborate that better. If it comes to psychology, there are different approaches. There are approaches of, hardware on the face. This is not good for long term. There's the arousal measurement. Well, we still use it here or there. What we can see is, first of all, that facial emotion detection is getting more stable and is getting better. And secondly, we see the voice stream as a very good indicator for emotions. That's what we do at the moment, from the side of simply understanding the emotions. And every interactive system will need this side. So I would point to the video signal, and I would point to the sound signal. Yeah.
So the hardware related to these two signals would be, well, the sensor is going to be video, intelligent video, and intelligent microphone that could be distributed in any device, like a car, like a smart mirror, like a smart kitchen or fridge.
Yeah. I think that would be the case. Maybe Gisem could elaborate. She's even more an emotion expert. That's how I see the state of the art in psychology, and this will be used.
Maybe I can add some points, like the hardware we traditionally use in the labs. It's called EMG, and we used to put some electrodes on the face and trying to measure the activity in the muscles. But nowadays, what we do is more like actually just analyzing the videos and detecting the activity in the face by just relying on the machine learning systems. And now we are more into the part of that using multimodals rather than unimodals, because we trust the power of using more data to have the higher accuracy at the end for the results. So I think, as Michael said, video and sentiment analysis and facial recognition analysis, we will reach better results. But it's kind of, when it comes to measuring these parts, I think we are in a better situation rather than doing these kind of things in the lab. We can just reach people by their videos and voices, and we can detect the emotions.
Yeah. Perfect. We are just 60 seconds above the time. If there's one more urgent question, then this is allowed. I make 10 seconds of silence. Then the last word would be on Willi.
Yeah.
No last word.
It was a bit critical, our latest thinking. I want to say that it's again that it is not an accident that there's a lot of interest in ethical design and these questions to make the best of it. And it brings absolutely so much also potential for learning, or when you have a disability and you have assistance and so on. Yeah, we should not forget about the real potential to create better lives for people using all these more accurate technologies and cognitive technologies like AI.
Yeah, thanks for this wonderful word at the end of this beautiful session. Thanks everybody for participating. Challenge Willi Schroll, challenge I-Square. Willi can send you the presentation. Maybe next year we're going to present you 3 more trends. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.